Today we're going to learn how to write the cursive letters F through J. So get your spiral notebook ready, and at the top you can label it cursive F through J. Alright, let's get started. We'll start with a capital F today. So to do the capital F, you are going to start from the top and you are going to pull down and kind of make a J with a fish hook. I know it's strange, just trust me. So you're going to start by pulling down to make a J with a fish hook, and instead of crossing the top like you would a regular F, we're going to make it nice and swirly. And then to actually make it look like an F, we're going to draw the line. So if you cover up all the fancy stuff, there's your capital F. But you know, cursive has to be a little bit fancier. There we go, F for fancy. And some people even cross it all the way across for an F, okay? So we're going to start at the top, pull down into a J with like a little fish hook, swirl at the top, and you can even swirl it in the middle if you'd like to. Start at the top, pull down, fancy fish hook. Oh, F for fish hook. Top, middle. There we go, capital F. All right, the lowercase f, it's pretty different again. So it's actually going to go all the way to the top, but it's actually going to hang down also. So watch me do a lowercase f. We start with a swoop, we're going to touch the top, we're going to cross over and go all the way down, loop to the baseline, and swoop out. That's your lowercase f. Start with a swoop, loop up, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, loop forward, touch at the baseline, and swoop out. Notice I'm not picking up my pencils, I'm writing an F. Start with a swoop, loop up, down, 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 loop forward, touch right there at the baseline, and swoop out. Okay, there's your Fs. So pause the video and practice 5 capital Fs and 5 lowercase f's. All right, let's keep going. Next we're going to do a G, and the capital G is pretty fancy. Surprise, surprise. All right, so to start with a G, we're going to start at the bottom, and we are going to swoop up. And then you're going to make a loop, swoop back up to the top, come back down, and loop in. Crazy, right? That's a capital G. Now I came and touched the top here, but sometimes you don't have to. You can also swoop like this. Swoop, point, loop. Both of those are considered capital G's. They both start with a swoop, they both have a loop, but you can either stop your point in the middle or stop your point at the top. All right, let's keep trying these capital G's. Loop to the top, little swoop, point, big belly, and hook in. And there's your capital G. All right, lowercase g is much easier. If you remember how we started the A, the D, the C, it's kind of the same way with the G. So we're going to start with a swoop and stop. Retrace to make the top of your G. We're going to hang down like a regular G, but we can't stop here. We're going to loop it back, because remember, lowercase letters have to connect to the letters around them. So we're going to start with a loop, stop at that point, retrace, close the top of your G, hang down, but keep swooping back, and I'm crossing over at the baseline to end with a swoop. Up and over, stop, retrace, close it in, down, 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 and loop back. There you go. All right, pause the video and do 5 uppercase G's and 5 lowercase g's. All right, let's move on to the H. I'm going to skip 2 lines just because these are hanging down. The capital H isn't too bad, but remember, everything's a little bit fancier with cursive. So let's make a uppercase capital H, but just make it fancy. Instead of just drawing a straight line, I'm going to start with a candy cane. But I'm also going to do the other side. But watch what I do with my pencil. I'm going to loop up to the middle and swoop. So instead of just drawing a line across, I made a little loop in the middle. All right, so the first stroke, up, down, stop. Start at the top. And then I'm going to swoop to the middle, make a little loop, and come out. Isn't that a nice fancy H? There we go. Awesome. Capital H. All right, let's do the lowercase h. So remember, all the lowercase letters have to start with a swoop and end with a swoop. So I'm going to start at the bottom, loop up to the very top. I'm going to make a loop, make my regular H part, and end with a swoop. So that one looks pretty familiar. All right, so I'm going to start with a swoop, loop up to the top. I'm going to stop at the baseline, retrace over the hill, and end with a swoop. Okay, now if your H looks like this, you are making your loops and swoops and hills too big. So that is wrong. Make sure you make them nice and thin with just a little bit of space. So wrong H, correct H. All right, go ahead and pause the video and practice your capital H's and your lowercase h's. All right, let's move on to the I's. The capital I definitely looks different again. So to do the capital I, we're going to start right here in the middle. We're going to start with a hook. We're going to touch the top, loop down, and end with a swoop. That is a capital I. So I started right here in the middle. I'm going to hook out, go into a tall loop, and swoop out. Start right here in the middle, hook, loop up, and out. Now remember, when you write I in the middle of a sentence, you would still use this capital I, because when I is by itself, it has to be capitalized. Okay, so there's 5 capital I's. Lowercase I is pretty easy, but remember, start with a swoop, end with a swoop. Up, retrace that line, I. So basically it looks like a regular I, you just have to start with a swoop. Yep, and a lot of cursive letters have a slant to them. So you can kind of slant your letter a little bit, which means it's kind of leaning to the right. Now, if your I looks like this, that is not an I. We're not making a tent to go camping, okay? Make sure it's nice and retraced all the way down. So there is your capital I and lowercase I. Pause the video so you can practice yours. And now for the last letter today is a J. So to do a capital J, it looks pretty different. We're going to start at the baseline, okay? And you're going to make a huge loop at the top. And at this point, we're going to keep going down, 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 swoop back into a capital J. It doesn't look anything like a printed J, does it? All right, let's try again. So we're going to start at the bottom, big loop, close it, down, 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 and out. Big loop all the way down and out. Big loop all the way down and out. And that is a capital J. All right, let's try the lowercase j. It looks a little more similar. I'm going to skip a line so I have room. So a lowercase j kind of starts like the I. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to slant up and retrace. But when I get to this point, I'm going to keep going down and loop back. Very similar to how the G was hanging. And then, of course, dot your J. So swoop up halfway, stop, retrace all the way down, 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 and loop out. And there's your J. So pause the video and do 5 capital J's and 5 lowercase j's. Okay, that's everything for today. Feel free to go back and practice any of the letters A through J for extra practice.